A very good evening and welcome to this week's edition of the program Times Exclusive, airing on Times Network. My name is Banda. Thank you for joining us. The program tonight is coming to you courtesy of Rainbow Paints.
I love brilliant green on my walls. I love signal red, sweet lime, electric blue. I just love golden yellow.
You get all that and more at Rainbow Paints. Imagine a water-based paint that is water-resistant. Imagine a paint that is absolutely washable to remove dirt. And it guarantees you 10,000 cleaning scrubs over its lifespan without losing its luster. There can only be one paint that does just that, and that paint is acrylic sheen. Get yours today at all leading hardware stores. Rainbow Paints. Peace of mind. Part of the deal.
My guest in this edition of the program is the Chief Executive Officer for Lilongwe Water Board, Alfonso Chikuni. Bwana Chikuni, thank you very much for joining us tonight in Times Exclusive.
Thank you for having me, Brian.
We are meeting after so much has happened in Lilongwe Water Board. Let's start with the positives. What would you describe are your achievements this far?
Basically, Brian, what I can say is not my achievements, but I think the achievements of the organization. Basically, I could be judged at the end of the day, not for what I've done, but for the culture that has been established at the organization. Brian, to begin with, I became the CEO in 2014, and from then on, my only single project has been people. So we have concentrated on people, and because I believe in the practical approach. If you are a football coach, your target should not be the fans, the audience. Your target is the players. And that's how I took it, that my target is the staff members and not the customers. I mean, practically, people say the CEO's reason for being there is to look after shareholders, profitability, look after the customers, but practically on the ground, it's the people that look after the customers. It's not me.
Yeah.
So if I look at my people in a human way, they will be able to look after the customers, and the consequences will be a better bottom line, the shareholders' profitability. So I think most of the progress that has been achieved is basically because we have managed to transit from a culture that was purely public sector to a culture that is oriented towards performance.
Would you say you are a good chief executive?
Well, that again, posterity will judge. It's organizational leadership is like parenting.
Yeah.
You don't judge how good a parent you are in the short term, because the product of parenting, the kid, is only known to have been raised by a normal family after a long time.
Yeah.
It's the same with organizational leadership. So you cannot be judged on a daily basis whether you are good or bad. In fact, most of the good leaders are bad on a daily basis, But eventually, in time, the progression tells everybody that this has been good leadership. So I would say, I don't know about now, but I would say maybe I would be judged in the long term whether I've been a good chief executive or not.
As an engineer, this has made it easy for you to manage water board.
No, I I think it has been a roadblock, in my opinion.
It has?
Yeah, because initially my thinking was that as a chief executive for a water company which is oriented in terms of engineering, it would be very easy for me.
Yeah.
But no, what I needed are the skill sets for how to live with people. And these are the people that know the engineering. These are the people that are, they know accounting. They know the other trades that contribute in a direction that a customer is served. But as a CEO, of course, the principle is that the first thing is that you have to be aware of yourself, your strengths and your weaknesses, especially the weaknesses. The second thing is that you look at the people that you are dealing with, that you are working with, and then the empathy aspects, that you have to be in their shoes. But the third thing is that you have to know the system, what you're dealing with. So maybe the third aspect is the one that is a strength, because I know the processes of production of water, the systems, but it's not all what I needed to be a good CEO. I also needed to be aware of myself much more than maybe anything else, especially my weaknesses. But again, knowing my constituents, the staff members, and those that contribute to the bottom line, and those that go out to meet the communities. So being a CEO, being an engineer is not entirely what one would want to be, because the attributes and the strength for developing a culture that is oriented on performance or to performance is completely different from the technical aspects.
Do we have enough water today for Lilongwe?
No.
No?
I think we don't have enough water. That is, I can confirm we don't have enough water. We are trying to best use the water that is available. In the absence of new water, the water that we are using now, the capacity, installed capacity that we have now was meant for population of 2014, 2013, maximum 2015. And beyond that, we were supposed to have additional water source. We still don't have. We have a pipeline of projects, quite formidable projects that would do, if we implemented, would take us up to 2035 or even beyond. But we have, in the absence of the water itself, adequate water, we have developed systems. So we're managing the little water that we have through monitoring how it is behaving. So now we are capable. 2 years ago, we have been able to see where the water is going, where we can push the water and balance the supply, which was not there before. So this aspect is, for now, working, but I don't think that it will work for too long. Because then, again, the population and urbanization in Lilongwe City itself, as you can imagine, it's one of the fastest in Africa, and I think in the world, at 6% per annum urbanization only. And we're having 2-3 big areas opened up every year. And the same small water will have to be redistributed to the new areas. So with time, we will progressively be restrained from having people adequately covered with the service.
How much water is needed for a day in Lilongwe?
In Lilongwe, our estimates for now are beyond 125,000 cubic meters per day, 105 megaliters per day, or 125 million liters per day. But we are able to produce about 110 maximum. Because again, the channel, the water, the Lilongwe River has been significantly degraded in terms of the quality. So we are taking more time to purify the water before we can deploy it for consumption. So currently, that's where we are sitting, and we have this deficiency. The result is that some of the areas, especially in the peripheral, are not able to get the 24/7 water supply. But the good thing is that now we know which area doesn't have water because we can monitor it. So it's not, it is manageable, because if they don't have water for 6 hours, then we can push water for a couple of hours. So it's not entirely dry as it were before. But
yeah,
that's the current position.
What about the situation we had in 2016, where you literally didn't have water?
Yes, I stopped going to Kams Dam for fear of collapsing, because it almost dried up.
Yeah.
And if the rains didn't come, and that year, I still remember that the first rains came on 28 December. If only it didn't come for 5 days, we could have shut down our business. It was very scary. But it was because of the climate vulnerability, and again, I have indicated the situation of our catchment at the moment. It's in a very, very precarious position. 2016 was a very, very bad year. 2017 we tried to catch up. 2018 was smooth, because rains in 2018 came around November.
Okay.
So
Pretty early
than
than 2016.
Than 2016.
Yeah.
So we were able to catch up. But significantly, the situation is still very, very vulnerable, and the risk is very high. Currently, we have embarked on a project to raise Kams Dam 1. The total capacity for the dams is 25 million cubic meters, Dam 1 and Dam 2. And again, we suspect there could be some significant siltation, so plus minus 5 million cubic meters on that figure. But we're raising Kams Dam 1 to realize another additional 11 million cubic meters.
Yeah.
This work will take us another 18 months to complete. And again, it will cover the deficit since 2015. Maybe it will take us to 2022. So it's a short term, not even medium term, it's a very short term intervention. It will only cover the deficit and the projection up to 2022. Beyond 2022, we still need an additional water source. So we have, as I said, a pipeline of projects. We have prepared the Diampui. Diampui was the preparation of the Diampui Dam and downstream facilities was completed in 2015. We have Lake Malawi as another good option for backup, and then again for the long term. And eventually, what we think is that these projects have to start now before the crisis comes in.
Yeah.
Yes.
There should be something good that you're doing at Lilongwe Water Board, because not long time ago you were nominated for outstanding individual contribution to water, and Lilongwe Water Board was also in the category of the best water utility provider of the year. There should be something good that you're doing, Engineer Chikuni.
Yeah, we remain positive, and we think we have a very formidable team of staff members now compared to some 5 years ago, and basically I think it is hinging on would I say maybe 5 aspects of how we have rearrange the way we approach things. First and foremost is we have to have tangible objectives, targets. So we developed an organizational strategic plan in 2015, which we are still using up to now, a 5-year strategic plan. with clear objectives, because what we think is that everybody has a motivation to change the way they behave, the way they work. But if you don't write down, then maybe the bias to action is questionable. When you write down, things become easier and you have the reference points. The second thing is that leadership is key. And in leadership, I mean courageous leadership, because on daily basis, you have to be able to say no to things that do not appear or are not in your objectives.
And that the world is watching.
And that the world is watching. So that's very key. If you are a leader and you are able to say, yes, we can proceed on our targets, but no, these ones can wait, that's very key as well. Number 3, to me, from my experience, is the environment, the work environment. The people, the team spirit, the trust, because as you know that people cannot work in teams if they don't trust each other. But to develop this team spirit, to develop the trust, and because you cannot cooperate if you don't trust each other. So if you want to take an organization from one point to the other, you have to develop and build these two aspects in terms of the team spirits: trust and cooperation. Because the people that win are not mostly the strongest people; they're the people that cooperate. That's what differentiates people that develop and those that do not develop, because we as individuals have interdependencies, and we develop because of interdependencies. So number 3, I think, is very key for us. We have managed to develop this team spirit and organizational culture in the past 5 years, and I think we have seen a direction. Number 4 is what I would call adaptability, and this is you have a target, so everybody's eyes are on the target, but the route to the target is flexible. So you should allow people to say, no, CEO, this doesn't work. So that's what we, as a culture, it is not me telling the people that I want to do this, I want you to do that, but it is rather them telling me what they're doing, because they have job descriptions.
You have rightly said that in 2016 you had a challenge of water, and I'm not surprised that soon after that we began hearing of the Salima project. Where are we on that project?
On the Salima project, it still is a viable project. It still responds to some of the questions that are not catered for in our current system. Because the environmental issues for Salima are quite, not remote, but manageable than the ones that we have in the current system, in the Maringunde system. But again, the climate vulnerability, the lake is less susceptible to the climate. I mean, to the scale, the order of magnitude with the...
Do you want to answer my question? My question
I
is,
want to.
my question is, are we still on with the project, yes or no?
We are still on.
We are still on?
As a board, it's still on the table.
Okay.
We haven't taken it out of the table.
Okay.
But currently, the Minister of Finance, I think, should be in a better position. The Ministry of Finance, Treasury, should be in a better position to maybe tackle the issue of mobilization of funds for the Salima project. But for us, it's still a viable project and is still intact on our table.
I am reliably informed that the authorities have decided not to go that route. Can you confirm with me if what I'm hearing is true or not?
Those could be perceptions. We've not formally been told of that change. The recent updates, the reports from us to government, we still have indicated that we are ready with the project, The only thing that we are waiting for is the kickoff of funds so that we can...
Why is it taking so long? And we hear of reports of the main contractor, Kato, not being happy.
Well, again, maybe perceptions, but again, mobilization of funds is not an easy aspect. The other
But
issues
Kato
that,
said he had funds to run the project.
But the type of financing maybe, because I think we believe that's what has presented a roadblock to progress on the issue. The type of funds that government would prefer to use against the type of funds that the contractor presently has offered. So, but we hope that it can be resolved timely so that we can proceed with the project.
What about the reports that the main contractor has sued government and probably the Lilongwe Water Board because of the delays?
No, we are not aware of that.
You're not aware?
No,
okay.
No.
If you are sued, what does that reflect on you?
Well, obviously, when you go in litigation, there are perceptions. So people might think this way or that way, but obviously for the Lilongwe Water Board, it's not a good picture to be in litigation with.
So what is the problem? Our viewer might want also to understand what is the problem. You are saying it's a viable project. What is delaying this whole thing?
But that's the part that I wouldn't handle. I don't have the capability to handle it because, as I've said, it's at policy level, it's at the ministry level. The Minister of Finance, maybe Minister of Water can ably handle it. But for us, we are the implementing agency, and what we're waiting for is when the financial arrangement issues have been resolved, then we'll be on the ground to implement the project.
Let's take a short break. Engineer Chikuni will be back with you in a moment. In case you're just joining us, this is Times exclusive airing on Times Network. My name is Banda. I'm joined by Engineer Alfonso Chikuni, Chief Executive Officer for Lilongwe Water Board. We'll be back momentarily.
I love brilliant green on my walls. I love signal red, sweet lime, electric blue. I just love golden yellow.
You get all that and more at Rainbow Paints. Imagine a water-based paint that is water-resistant. Imagine a paint that is absolutely washable to remove dirt. And it guarantees you 10,000 cleaning scrubs over its lifespan without losing its luster. There can only be one paint that does just that, and that paint is acrylic sheen. Get yours today at all leading hardware stores. Rainbow Paints. Peace of mind. Part of the deal.
You're watching Times exclusive on Times Network. I'm joined by Engineer Alfonso Chikuni. He's the Chief Executive Officer for Lilongwe Water Board. Welcome to the other half of the program.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you.
What went wrong in 2016 when water was contaminated with other things?
Yes, I like your the other things.
The other things, yes.
Well, these are old systems. Area 18 is an old area, just like Area 10, Area 12, and the surrounding areas. We have old pipes there, but not to say that even new pipes do not break. We have always maintained that it can even happen now because the system that contaminated our system is not our system. This is a system that belongs to Lilongwe City Council or Malawi Housing, as it were, as we were told. And the breakage of the sewerage system happened elsewhere, and the other things were moving in the drainage system of the roads until they made our pipe. It was, to us, very atrocious experience and very dehumanizing experience to our customers. But we didn't just sit. We have taken action. We we replaced all the pipes in area 18A, and currently I think the customers would be delighted to know that from that moment we embarked on a bigger project where we are rehabilitating most of the old network, the old pipes. If you are from Lilongwe, you would know where we are laying the pipes, because all over the place we are laying the pipes. The World Bank assisted us with the resources. The EIB also came in with the resources. So we are laying and upgrading most of the pipes in the city. So Area 18 2016 was a catastrophe to us. And really, we hope that in the future it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, that was my next question. Do you see that happening again?
At the moment, we can't surely say it can't happen, because we still have the old system. The sewerage system is too old, still vulnerable, very weak. So what we did as Lilongwe Water Board, when we were arranging financing for the rehabilitation of our pipe network, we also asked the World Bank for resources to rehabilitate the network for sewerage system. So we would be going to Kauma to repair the treatment plant in Kauma. We'll repair the pipe network for sewers, and then we'll also extend the sewer system to some extent as a precursor to. We hope that this project would have spin-offs in terms of the sanitation, waterborne sanitation. So we are not just sitting, but currently we can't say it can't happen, but because the situation on the other side and the waterborne sanitation is still the way it was before. Our part, we have started laying the pipes, and we hope that in the next couple of months we can start on the sewerage system. But we are the implementing entity. We are assisting Lilongwe City Council, and the motive is that according to agreement, maybe eventually the sewer system will be handed over to Lilongwe Water Board. Because the issues of sustainability, because we need concrete revenue streams to maintain and expand. And
do you trust your own water? Do you drink it?
We drink our own water. It's we're just unlucky that we brought the bottled water.
Yeah.
In all our houses, in Mate House, and in all our offices, we drink Lilongwe Water Board water.
So you trust your own water?
I can assure you, that's the best water that you can take.
Okay.
I will not mention which tests we did to what water, but I can assure you that Lilongwe Water Board water is one of the best in this part of Africa. You can drink tap water in Lilongwe, you can drink tap water in Johannesburg, you can drink tap water maybe in Morocco, in this part of Africa. Most of the countries you don't drink tap water. Okay. But for us, when we are deploying water out, it is to the standards. So if we have contamination, it happens in the remote. Okay. Now we are putting, we are developing a SCADA system. Yeah. This will assist us to pinpoint where point pollution has happened. Yeah. Because the arrangement in the city, you have refuse, you have on top of our pipes. So sometimes yes, things can happen, but in the remote.
But where the water is coming from,
where the water is perfectly safe. Yeah.
Very recently, Engineer Chikuni, Lilongwe Water Board was in the news over employment matters. Apparently, you had offered employment to some people and withdrew the same. What happened?
Well, employment for us, we are in the public sector, and the employment is done formally. Sometimes you find that the formal process hasn't identified issues, and that you are alerted of some issues that you were supposed to have taken. We normally do due diligence when we are employing the new recruit to have been given would have been would have contacted the referees, and the referees, they would confirm that they are indeed professional. But sometimes things happen that you skip, or things don't come out until you have a recruitee with you. So yes, we had an incident, I would say, because we do have new recruits every time, but an incident happened a couple of weeks ago, and the withdrawal was kind of a temporary arrangement as we were doing the due diligence. So again, it wasn't an issue that we just think that it was blown out of proportion in a way, but it's an issue that would have handled quite comfortably, because the issues were brought, and then we just withdrew to allow the due diligence to take place.
I have a vivid example of Mr. Prince Henderson. He was offered unemployment here, and after some days, even before he started work, his letter of employment was withdrawn. Others are saying that probably because he doesn't belong to the ruling Democratic Progressive Party.
I have my doubts on that. That could be perceptions.
Do we want to go to a situation where people that are going to be employed in parastatals are cadets or supporters of the Democratic Progressive Party?
No, that's not part of our rationale for selecting people that come to Lilongwe Water Board. For the particular case, it was a temporary employment, what we normally call an established employment.
Yeah.
And as usual, as was the case, I think being a temporary position, most of the due diligence was ignored.
What's your definition of due diligence?
Well, we get to know where they have worked before, if they have worked before, in terms of their moral stand, whether they had issues where they had worked before. So these are the issues that we find out. And we also find out in terms of whether they are people that can work in teams, people that can cooperate with others, because that's our spirit, that we work in teams. So those are the aspects of due diligence that we do.
So it's not because he's not a cadet?
No. I doubt that maybe it could be a coincidence or something of that nature, but we try to be as professional as possible, and we have tried to do that as long as we, in terms of recruitment and in terms of all other procurement issues.
Because the worry outside there is that do I need to be a member of the Democratic Progressive Party? Do I need to be a cadet for me to get employment in government or in a parastatal like Lilongwe Water Board?
Well, I don't think so. For Lilongwe Water Board, I don't think so. We've always been professional, and we maintain to be professional. So perceptions, the problem with perceptions is that they will always remain perceptions, and people believe or people don't believe depending on what side one sits. That's what I could say, yeah.
Boreholes in cities. Are we going that route? If not, why?
Well, boreholes, there are a couple of issues about boreholes.
Yeah.
We could have boreholes if they made a lot of sense in terms of economical sense. But as you know, most of this land, Lilongwe, Chisido, Zalanyama, this terrain is underlain by a lot of graphite. Yeah. So the geophysical surveys, the tests that are conducted to identify groundwater, the behavior of the water is similar to the behavior of graphite, same conductivity. So what happens is that you could think that you have found water, when in actual fact the conductivity is coming from graphite. So we have struggled to find good yield boreholes in Lilongwe, basically because of that. The second thing is that because of the arrangement of the waste management in the city, it is very, very risky to have boreholes. You basically would be giving people poison.
Yeah.
Because the groundwater is basically in communication with the rest of the water that is coming from the waste facilities. So we discourage to the drilling of boreholes in built-up areas. We have boreholes as Lilongwe Water Board, but we do them in the peripheral. We have some in Lumbazi, but they're distant, they're away from the main established areas.
Yeah.
But again, the boreholes in 2016, in trying to diminish or minimize the effect of the drought, the boreholes were commissioned in Lumbazi. By now, we have reduced by more than 50% of the production. Okay. The yields have gone down. So it's not a viable, so far, it's not one of the viable commercially, they don't make commercial sense. Instead, we have rolled out a area-wide survey for groundwater. We have consultants started finding if we have water deep 2 kilometers from the ground, with finances from the World Bank. So I think if you ask me before we go for Christmas, I would have had an answer in terms of where we can find water. But we have limited ourselves in the peripheral.
How are you going to move that water?
It's pumping.
Okay.
It's pumping.
So
yes.
Pumping into tanks or
pumping
boreholes?
Into tanks, and then if you see some of the boreholes that we have, we are using, they're boreholes. We take water from the ground, we treat the water.
Okay.
Yeah, we filter and disinfect, and then we put in the pipelines.
Okay.
So the water comes at the tap, just the normal water, the way the other water comes.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is a lot of construction. Our viewers might probably been affected by the noise, hammers.
Yeah.
What's happening?
As I said, Brian, that our main approach is people. For me, I don't look at the customer. I look at how the environment in which people are working is. So we realized that we had a constraint in terms of the comfort of the people. So we've built an office building using our own money. Okay. This office complex is bigger than Macha House, more beautiful, more opulent. I hope that you can see it, that we have the opportunity to see it.
Yeah.
And basically, it is looking after the good work environment that encourages teamwork, it encourages wellness. We have a gymnasia in the building. We also have a cafeteria, and we have small boardrooms that people can quickly come together and discuss issues to encourage teamwork and cooperation.
Yeah.
So that's the office building that it will be commissioned very soon, maybe this month or maybe early next month.
Having talked to other chief executives, when you chat with them privately, they sometimes get worried of politics and how politics is affecting the operations of the parastatals. Has Lilongwe Water Board been spared?
Well, it depends. Politics is everywhere. Politics is even in the families. You chat with your kids, there is politics. Yeah. You chat with your mother, there is politics. I would say the reason for being a chief executive is to manage, not to run away from politics, but to manage politics. We have the information, we have to inform, because what I've realized is that, what I've come to know, or suspect, is that when an organization is in problems, then you attract a lot of attention. Okay. Because people have solutions. People have ideas that the Lilongwe Water Board is in problems. I have this idea, let me go there, and people translate it as politics, but it comes from the internal arrangement. It's an internal conversation that you should have. We have problems. What can we do to deal with the challenges? But if you let the problems go outside, then you attract a lot of people. So if you see a politician coming, giving you solutions, it is one of the signs that you have.
What about the infiltration of cadets?
Well, that as I said, I am not aware of that.
Okay.
Because first and foremost, these are Malawians. Everybody is a Malawian, and I don't think if we have any, because the orientation differs anyway.
Yeah.
There could be those that are from one side or the other side.
Yeah.
But that's not one of the criterion that we use for employment.
So do you want to tell me that you have not employed anyone here, be it part-time, full-time, or non-established, as you're calling it, based on the fact that he's a supporter of the Democratic Progressive Party?
No.
Or is
no.
a DPP cadet?
No, we haven't.
So you don't have cadets at Lilongwe Water Board?
I'm not aware of any. They could, as I said, but I'm not aware.
How many more years are you still here?
I don't have many years. I don't have much time.
Okay.
But I think it's an honor to have worked here. And
you seem like a man who is saying goodbye when you say it's an honor to have worked here.
Yeah, well, of course.
You are still the CEO of Lilongwe Water Board?
Yes, of course.
Are you going anytime soon?
These are not permanent positions.
Okay.
These are given authorities that, or in the first place, I don't take it as it's an opportunity to be given this opportunity to be a leader.
Yeah.
I didn't consider it as having taken an authority to trample on others, but I can only be judged, as I said, much later after I have. But I think I have done adequately.
Yeah, when you get recognized with those kind of nominations, it shows that the world is watching, and probably there's something good that you're doing at Lilongwe Water Board.
Probably. But the only metrics that we can measure are the customers. In my case, my customers, as I said, are the staff members, but my staff members look after the larger, wider Lilongwe city.
Yeah.
In 2015, we did a customer satisfaction survey.
Yeah.
We did miserably, but it was good. And I told everybody that this is the way to go, because you have to be told what are your weaknesses.
Yeah.
Even myself, sometimes we do a workshop and I ask my team members to say anything bad about me. Yeah, and they do that. Others could be perceptions, as I said.
Yeah.
Others are very true. And then you come to realize the aspects of yourself that you were not aware of.
Yeah.
Same with the customer satisfaction survey. In 2015, they gave us 19%. 19% of the people said they were satisfied. But this year, 2019, we have moved to 64%.
Oh, so that's quite a
So 64% of the customers are saying,
Unfortunately, we don't have much time, and congratulations for 64%. What are you reading this week?
This week I'm reading How Not to Be Empathetic.
How Not to Be Empathetic?
Empathetic, yeah.
Okay.
It's a book that tells you that empathy is good as a leader, but sometimes it can contaminate and corrupt you. Because people come, and you should see between their eyes if they are really looking for empathy or they want to corrupt you.
Engineer Dr Alfonso Chikuni, quite intriguing hearing you talk tonight. We wish we had more time, and many thanks.
Thank you very much, Brian.
Well, on that note, we conclude this week's edition of the program Times Exclusive. In this edition, I've been talking to Engineer Dr Alfonso Chikuni. He's the CEO of Lilongwe Water Board. My name is Brian Banda. Thank you for joining us, and goodbye tonight from Lilongwe.
I love brilliant green on my walls. I love signal red, sweet lime, electric blue. I just love golden yellow.
You get all that and more at Rainbow Paints. Imagine a water-based paint that is water resistant. Imagine a paint that is absolutely washable to remove dirt and it guarantees you 10,000 cleaning scrubs over its lifespan without losing its luster. There can only be one paint that does just that, and that paint is acrylic sheen. Get yours today at all leading hardware stores. Rainbow Paints. Peace of mind. Part of the deal.